Welcome to session 0 of Dance's End. This will be a very long form game that follows four heroes as they mature to great, possibly world changing heroes in the town of Cardent. They have been invited to serve a lord of the town. There are a total of 9 lords of the town of Cardent. Um, and I've chosen these players specifically um, to play in this game. I feel that they will best help me tell a story that um, I think will be engaging and fun for everybody. Um, we do have plans for tie-ins with Patreon games and also possibly guest stars being added into this game in the future. But before all of that, we have to start with a strong foundation. With that being said, um, I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself. I just need to know, um, your name, um, pronouns, uh, background, either with me, the campaign setting, role playing in general, anything you'd like to add, um, and also in this time while we're talking, um, also think about things any expectations you have for the game as well that you'd like to add into um, conversation. We'll start with Shapakli. Go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Sipakli. I go by they, them. Um, I I feel like I'm probably one of the l later additions to the community. Maybe a couple of years ago, I was really interested in playing um a witch in one of John's games, and there was like an inferior player that had my spot, and so I was shunted to the side. And eventually, I got an opportunity to play a witch in that game, and it was really fun. So I'm hoping to do that again this time around. I'm interested in exploring different ways that warlocks can kind of like inhabit a D&D space without necessarily worshiping a patron. Um, I'm also interested in having a character that has connection and relation and bond with the other player characters. Um, and I'm from Texas, which, is what it is.
Well, I mean, it has its ups and its downs. Um,
It does.
it's not currently in the path of a hurricane, which is great. Um, that said, um, as mentioned, Shijo is the newcomer to the group in comparison to the other three. For Friday games, I know that two of you have definitely been in more Friday games than the others, but surprisingly, one of you has been in much more Friday games than anyone else here. So, next on the docket, Andy, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Andy. I go by the pronouns he, him, and his. I've been playing D&D and other games with John since 2015. Before there was a Discord, way back when there were those awkward Facebook
Book groups.
things, and we did West Marches. And started in John's like one-shot Roll20 con with Kevin G and a couple of others that like just went on forever. It was great. That first campaign was amazing. I'm looking forward to playing with these experienced our peers. Look forward to having fun. Look forward to sort of exploring the sibling relationship with Liz's character. Yeah, thanks.
And as far as veteran statuses go, one of you has been here since the primeval soup of what is the unending spiral before names made any sense. Well, they still don't. I still make up the names, and they're still too damn long, and you'll have to try and write them down phonetically and deal with it. But yeah, Tom has definitely been
Wrong.
wrong.
We'll
Correct.
we'll always spell them wrong.
Right. You have to. It's
Every
important.
single time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Without
not.
accent marks,
Why did I
no
make?
character mapping.
It's because I made the name, and that's just the rules, I guess. But yes, Tom has definitely been here since the earliest stones were laid here. So, Tom, tell us about yourself.
As already given away, my name is Tom.
Spoiler.
Go by he, him. And as John noted, I have been a part of this setting since before the internet actually existed, I believe. We played by
Pretty close.
telegraph back in Indiana back in the day. It has been a very long time. I was out of the circle for a while, but I've been back again for a couple years now, and very excited for that. I'm very into the world building of the setting, and I think that's the thing I'm most excited about for this game and this group of players, is being able to really dig into kind of a narrative that's not just like one motivation or one character or anything like that. It's really the city, the setting, and a greater scope of things rather than just a single adventure.
Absolutely. And again, last but absolutely not least, definitely one of the most ride or die players I've had, and very, very, very interesting narratives, a very aesthetic mind. Um, Elizabeth, I kind of shit the bed on that by saying a whole bunch of cool stuff about you. But feel free to go ahead with
I mean, the audience is welcome to believe it or not.
right.
I'm Elizabeth, she, her. I've been playing D&D off and on for a while, since I was like 16. That's like half my life now, I think. But yeah. What were we supposed to talk about?
Just yourself and what you're expecting from the campaign.
Oh, fun, good storytelling, which John is always delivered on. And hanging out with friends. I just kind of like let things roll. I don't know.
It's good. It's good. You're also very adamant about charts and Excel spreadsheets, and we love that.
Yeah, I'm the treasurer, and
That's the next thing on the
all
docket. Not quite this specific one, but skipping ahead a little bit there. The next thing I do want to cover is I played with everyone here for some time. Um, I just want to make sure that we all understand, because I know that there's at least one player here who hasn't really played with another player here. But I think everyone else has kind of, in one way or another, kind of commingled. But I want to make sure that we understand our boundaries. I don't want there to be any kind of, you know, obviously we're mature enough individuals that if something does cross the line, we'll point it out. And I am a person who I'm not going to try and force something on someone once I understand that it's pressing, you know, buttons. I'm not, or, you know, worse. So my main boundaries are I'm not a very large fan of um, anything to do with children, really. When I say anything to do with children, I'm very much of the Bethesda mentality. You can't kill children, you can't interact with children in negative ways. They're just kind of allowed to be. If the characters are doing something, then that's fine. Now, obviously, I've broken this rule a couple of times with more grandiose storylines, um, to kind of point to, you know.
But were they really babies?
Yeah, that's more than fair. They were definitely teenagers, or like, you know, close to their 20s, in most cases. But
Well,
the
I'm
point
also
is,
just like referring to the child.
sure. I'm just not a huge fan of that coming up, so, you know, that's kind of for me. Violence against children, and then I believe one that I share with Jijo, is like incest of any kind. Not a huge fan of that. So none of that. I don't think that'll come up on my end of the table, and I know that won't come up on your end of the table either. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that's personally for me. I know that I typically operate in a fashion where intimate circumstances are typically done in a veiled pattern. So, if, for example, you do fall into a romance, probably not going to be the case, but who knows? Um, Typically, if it comes to a kissy face kind of situation, the veil will be drawn, and then we'll just presume that goes however the player wants that to go. Um, but yeah, again, we're a more mature group. I think we can deal with that more favorably. In the last Friday game, we had a character Orlandis who was, in a romantic situation. So again, it's not impossible, but it is obviously not. Something I'm going to like focus in on, like combat, where I describe the bloody murder to a T, and obviously that can have its own issues. Anyways, that's me. We'll just go through the same order in reverse. So, Elizabeth, do you have any specific boundaries when it comes to details or anything to that effect?
Most things are on the table, I think. Just like unwarranted anything like sexual like aggression, that sort of thing. I feel like that should be an obvious, but it's not always. And then like drilling into the brain, which is very specific, but that's like the limit on my like body horror.
Okay. I will say that's a good note. I do have certain aspects that will have that bit of a tip of
Drilling
the
into the cranium.
well, a bit of a tip of the hand here, Andy. The last time you saw a specific type of creature that was here was in the Shadow of Fire. So, if you recall, there were some kind of extra, let's call it terrestrial elements.
Mhm.
So there is definitely some experimental things that will be going on. Drilling of the brain will definitely be not mentioned directly or like talked about thoroughly.
That would be. It's mostly just like you can veil it.
Yeah,
It's fine. Like mentioning it,
it'll be like that
totally
scene.
fine. But describing it,
Yeah,
So,
it'll be
like
like that scene in Star Wars.
when the illithid is eating the brain, you just don't want to hear the slurping sounds.
yeah.
It'll
Got
be
it.
like that scene in Star Wars where like the weird like interrogation drone's flying up. It drops the camera down to the floor, pans out of the room, and then like the Imperial Guard guys walking away. That's what we'll do. We'll do stuff
Yeah.
like that. Great, Tom.
Nothing that hasn't already been mentioned. I'm with Liz on the like sexual violence boundary and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Other than that, not much that will phase me.
And Andy.
Same. Good.
Okay. And Jisha.
Yeah, I think I'm very okay with varied like fantasy, horror, sci-fi violence. I'm okay with it. And agree about like anything with kids and anything with family boundaries. I think that's perfect. So I'm good to go.
All right. So with that out of the way, there was mention of kind of expectations of what the party is basically bringing to the table outside of the kind of concept of the story. In past Friday games, Elizabeth has been a very thorough and detailed note taker when it comes to inventory. We've dubbed her the party treasurer in a number of games that she's played in. I know that Andy is very thorough in his notes, and at the beginning of this session displayed that he was doing some map making, which was very cool, and may very well be important in depending on what you do quest-wise. Is there any like tasks or things that would be considered like a party group like thing that should be done that you want to kind of see if you want to do for the party, or like again, I'm not volunteering Elizabeth for it. There is a part of my brain that knows she's going to jump at it anyways, but again, I'm not. If she doesn't want to, maybe she doesn't want to, then she doesn't have to do the party treasure thing, but she just has in the past. Is there
Yeah,
anybody?
Posted the Google sheet.
I already have the doc.
Thank you.
It's already.
That was made like months ago, dude.
Oh, I was not paying attention. Okay, well,
Yeah,
so
I just posted it in the general, and everyone should be able to edit it. But if you edit those top numbers, like right above, like Electrum, Platinum, etc., like do not edit those little currently zeros
because they're
because they are formulas.
Oh geez. Oh geez.
So, if you're looking at it right now, I'll type like 56 under Electrum, and it'll pop up 56 above it, and then like say we get like 3 the next episode or later in the episode, it turns to 59. So just
Got it.
input it under, and then
it'll
if
add
you
up.
can, put the episode number on the like left side.
thorough.
I don't do spreadsheets, so I'm just going to put that up front.
Well, again,
So-
the task I kind of said you might be good at is one that you kind of displayed. I mean, keeping notation as to like map and orientation
Mhm.
will be something that you'll want to do. Now, for
For the
this
person
game,
that gets lost a lot, this makes a lot of sense.
this makes a lot of sense. If you were flying around like a bird, I doubt you'd get lost as much.
That is very true. Speaking about loot, could I just sort of say that in some campaigns, loot is handled where the group decides to share everything. In other campaigns, people will grab it and it's theirs. How are we going to handle loot?
So back to the spreadsheet.
Mhm. The spreadsheet is just party.
Yeah, the spreadsheet is for the party, and at the top, I can actually make the bigger. So up at the top, you have your name,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so Sapacli is purple, Andy is blue, I have red, and Tom has green. So over on the items
Four genders.
page, yeah, the 4 genders. So if you go onto the items page, there's potions, spell scrolls, gems, and if you like have one of the spell scrolls, then you or someone else can just highlight it with your color.
I think that's super awesome. I love that, Liz. I guess I was asking more philosophically, like, are we a sharing party? That's always my preference.
So I'll
You know what I
answer,
mean?
I'll answer
Or
that
are we-
question in a narrative sense because it's very easy. Okay, the expectation is that if you do acquire things in what we'll discuss, the Helma, that's the Lord's. Everything is technically the Lord's. You are just the people who have been given right to go into the Helma and take it. That said,
So what
Alwyn
color
does not.
the Lord want?
He doesn't have a color because Alwyn's position
Pink.
is I don't care, and we'll discuss that more as we get to know Alwyn, but it's more of a position of I don't care if it's something that is historically significant, religiously significant, or academically significant. He will want it because it will give him more kind of like sway in those circles. But if it's something that's like, you know, a magical sword or a cursed sword on a wall, pretty sure like a good 3 or 4 people in the chat right now are going to be like, me, I want it.
Nutting.
He's got cursed swords down there. I want to go. But he's not going to be very positioned to want it. So that'll come to you as a group. If you need it, take it. If you don't need it, put it in the party fund. It's you have a big castle. It's
So
not
I have like a response to that though. Like I think I'm okay with like story based inventory thoughts. Like
Yeah.
If your character spots like the magical scroll of Wendy Williams and definitely needs it, and you don't want to tell us that you found it,